Well, that was the weirdest intro I've ever done. So you guys are probably just waiting, waiting for me to do a gaming video or anything that's not boring. Either that or you probably don't care. And since you guys have been waiting for so long, I finally decided, that's right guys, I'm back with another science assessment.
Another one.
I know you guys really want like a video that's anything besides education because education's boring. But do not worry, I am planning to make a non-educational video about fanfiction. So for those who don't know, I made an account on fanfiction.net, link in the description. But I'm actually more active on fanfiction than I am on YouTube, but do not worry. A video that has nothing to do with learning is coming soon. Just in other words, I procrastinate a lot. So, like the last one, this is a group project, and before you ask me, my deep apologies, but my voice is the only voice you'll be hearing in this video.
No! No! Please, no! 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 No!
So this was made by Shanae, Darcy, Marcus, and most importantly,
John C.
Today we'll be talking about Continental Drift / Pangea or Pangea, whatever. You might actually learn something in this video, or you might even die of cringe, who knows. So for those who have no idea about Continental Drift / Pangea, whatever. Let me quickly explain. So to put it simple, continental drift is the theory that the continents are slowly moving apart and that the continents used to be one big land in the very beginning. In the very beginning, it is believed that there was only one piece of land where other continents were joined together, and today we call that Pangea. So how do we know this is all true? Well, here is some evidence provided by my team and I. Now this is the worst slide you're ever going to see in this video, and it's probably because it was written by an idiot. Continental jigsaw. As the name suggests, it says every piece of land on planet Earth is like a puzzle piece to a jigsaw. The continents like Asia are huge pieces, while islands like Bali are small puzzle pieces. The concept of continental jigsaw and why it supports the theory of continental drift is actually very simple. The theory is that the entire world is one giant jigsaw, and if the continents, or in this case the big puzzle pieces, match together, then they must have connected together at some point in the past. An example of this is the outline of Eastern South America and West Africa. As you can see from the picture, if you put these two continents together, they would have fitted together exactly like putting two large puzzle pieces together. The way they look now seem like they were broken apart a long time ago, therefore supporting the evidence of continental drift. Fossil evidence. So this slide was created by none other than Shanae herself. So you just know that this slide is right. Get it? Because, her last name is right. I should have told you that before, huh? Alfred Wegener, is that how you say it? Or is it Wegener? Or is it Wegener's? Alfred Wegener's theory was that since some fossils of Pacific rare organisms had been found in parts of the world and then in another completely isolated continent, there had to be no other explanation but for the continents to all be once together as one supercontinent, which was known as Pangea or Pangea. Fossils. Fossils are the preserved traces of animal or plants found inside rocks. Fossils are useful in dating geological materials because there are specific species that were alive at the time the rock was formed. Scientists have found fossils of the freshwater reptile Mesosaurus in both South America and the southern tip of Africa. These parts of the world are kilometers apart. The Mesosaurus were not good swimmers, and it was not possible for them to swim such a large distance. Fossils of the fern Glossopteris have been found spread across South America, Africa, India, Antarctica, and Australia. Another example of a Pacific species found in different continents is the Lystrosaurus, Triassic land reptile, who is found across India, Antarctica, and Africa. Finding almost identical fossils in very disparate, widely spread out continents can only be explained if the continents were only joined together. These examples help state the theory of Pangea. No, this slide was made by Darcy, the Doge me. Wow, much science, many things. The glacial theory is an idea that suggests that glaciation, the process of being covered by glaciers of sheets of ice, had expanded over large areas of land. This brought many different types of climates to continents that nowadays wouldn't appear there. Evidence of such events have been provided by the meteorologist named, oh my gosh, it's him again, Alfred Wegener. Wegener. He was puzzled by the remains of the trees that could be found under polar ice in tundra biomes. He also found that in places such as Antarctica, Africa, South America, India, and Australia, there shows signs of past glaciation. One of the most obvious signs of glaciation is glacial striations. Man, I can't pronounce words. Glacial striation are scratches left on the surface of the earth that are caused by glaciers dragging large boulders underneath them as they move. By following the direction of the glacial striations, it has been proven that all 5 countries have experienced glaciation. This proves that all these countries were indeed joined together, hence proving the theory of continental drift. I guess you could say it's nice. I'll leave now. Hey guys, remember Marcus from the last video? No? Oh come on, you must have remembered him. He was the one who did... What did he do again? Magnetic striping. Magnetic striping is... wait. Is it pronounced magnetic striping? Or
Magnetic striping.
Magnetic striping is the process of molten rock being cooled down in the ocean and little magnetic particles called magnetites. This magnetic particle points to magnetic north. So as the molten rock cools and solidifies, these particles are stuck and points the way which is north at the time, which means that they will be pointing to magnetic north at the time rock was solidified. But as time goes on, we have evidence that magnetic north has moved, even flipped around the earth a few times. There is many examples in the seafloor where the magma is pushed up to the surface that the magnetic north has moved. Particles that have been solidified are not pointing to magnetic north, but to what used to be magnetic north. This means that the rock that has been created at different times will have magnetite that points in different directions. An explanation for the pole switching goes to the core, where the inner core is solid iron, surrounded by liquid iron, carrying electrons and making an electromagnet. This allows 2 different explanations, that either the poles are flipping at a constant rate, a circular view, or that the world started with a radioactive core and has caused the pole to flip quickly over time. But because of decay has slowed quickly, creationist view, this all shows the evidence that continental drift and Pangea is real. Coal evidence. Coal evidence is a very interesting topic. As you know, coal is used to light... Okay, but on a serious note, the theory of coal evidence articulates the idea of evidence that involves coal. Okay, but seriously, some of you may be asking, Jason, what is coal evidence? My answer to that is, I have no idea. But Darcy does. You know, the Doge me. It says here, the evidence that helps support the theory of Pangea or Pangea is a distribution of coal found in places that it otherwise wouldn't exist. For example, coal found in Eastern South America can be found in Western Africa. In Pangea or Pangea, these two countries were bordering each other, hence explaining the strange occurrence of the different types of coal. And that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, since the slide looks so empty, I'm just gonna spam this slide with coal and... Okay. So it might sound like I'm in a class full of people, but the truth is, there's only 8 other people in this classroom. So I decided to do my recording during class, which is obviously a bad idea, but we're doing it anyway. So now that we're all on the same page, and hopefully you agree that Continental Drift / Pangea exists. Oh no, it's okay. It's okay, I'm fine. So the only question now is, how did it happen, and when did it happen? And this is still being debated even till today. There are 2 different answers to this question: a Christian answer or an atheist answer. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this at home. Okay, so I'm back in my room again, although the sound quality is still just as bad, probably because I'm talking. It is right now 10:45 p.m. and this assessment is due tomorrow. Yay! Atheist. Atheist believes that the world was created billions and billions and billions of years ago. So they believe that everything happened at a constant rate during those years, and that it will stay that way for the years to come in the future. They believe in a theory called uniformitarianism. This basically means that they think that everything has happened at a constant rate and will stay that way forever, which is what I just said. Example is Continental Drift. We see that the continents slowly moving apart / closer at a constant rate each year. They believe that things like continental drift, canyons, and mountains all take a long time to form, and that the ages of these objects can be determined through what they look like. Now, of course, that isn't entirely true. Like, we've seen canyons and mountains form in a short amount of time before. While that is true, there's the argument on how could that possibly happen for a whole world. It has been proven that the continents move at a constant rate from their original position each year, so it only makes sense that continental drift occurred billions and billions of years ago, which is what an atheist believes. Christian. Now, from a Christian point of view, it did not happen billions and billions of years ago. In terms of time, there's this massive debate on how old the Earth is. If it's billions and billions of years old, then it makes sense that continental drift occurred over an extremely long period of time, and it also supports the theory of evolution. But a Christian believes that the world isn't that old, that God was the one who made humans, not evolution. So how does that relate to Pangea or Pangea? If the world isn't that old, then how did the continents travel so far in such a small amount of time? Well, Christians believe in catastrophism. In the Bible, it says in Genesis 6 verse 9 to chapter 9 verse 17, it tells the story about how God sent a big flood that engulfed the entire earth. In other words, a massive catastrophe. And that's where catastrophism comes in. It practically means like when something is shaped by sudden or short-lived and violent events in the past, which is completely the opposite to uniformism, because they don't count the catastrophes that may or may not occurred in the past. If you believe in uniformism, then that means you do not believe that major events and catastrophes occurred in the past. If we went from this point of view, then it all makes sense that the big flood that God sent is responsible for separating the continent, and which is how Pangea existed before the flood. Of course, a general counter to this theory is, how do you know there is a God? The only problem with this theory, in my opinion, is that you first have to believe that there is a God in the first place. Even among Christians, there's always that doubt on whether God exists or not. As a Christian myself, I believe that there is a God, so this theory makes perfect sense to me. But honestly, whether you believe how and when continental drift happened depends on whether you believe in God or not. If you do believe in God, then it makes sense that continental drift didn't happen over an extremely long period of time, and the flood that God sent is responsible for continental drift. But if you don't, then you probably agree that it occurred billions and billions of years ago at a constant rate. Overall, it all depends on you. So that brings us to the end of this video. I kid you not, it is actually 2 a.m. 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'm still recording this video. What makes it even worse is I haven't even posted on YouTube, and that's probably gonna take another half an hour. So I'm probably gonna stay up at 2:30, and I have to wake up at 6 or 7 because I have to go to school. And it's actually funny because I stayed up all night trying to finish this project, and that's exactly what my friends and teachers told me not to do. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm tired. You're probably tired from watching this video. I was gonna end this video with something funny, but then again, I was never funny to begin with. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this video. I've already said that, haven't I? Here are my sources if you're interested. I'll put them in the description if you're interested. Of course, I'm not an actual expert on this topic, so if you disagree with anything I said in this video, feel free to scold me in the comment section. Other than that, I really don't have much to say other than I really want to sleep. So yeah, bye.